Hi guys, and welcome to more of Making My Brother Play Otome games. I'm Kaylin.
I'm Nathan.
And last time we finished our conversation with Dr. Matsumoto about Furies.
Learned a little more about Furies.
Learn more about Furies.
Got called a girl with demon blood running through our veins.
Yes, yep, Kazuma came and gave us a visit and a warning at Shinsengumi headquarters.
No more making Furies.
No more making Furies, he said. And what are they going to do?
They cleaned the compound.
They cleaned the compound. Yeah, that was good. And
they're going to continue making Furies because...
Yep.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Might as well try.
Yep. And, the previous shogun died. And so there's a lot of conflict going on in the country now. We also came out on patrol with Saito. And now we met this girl named Sen.
A cute little brunette girl who I am trying my best to make a horrible girl's voice. And failing completely, as usual.
So here we are.
But at least I can pronounce her name.
Yes.
Sen. Sen.
There is that.
Sen. There's 2 syllables in that one. Sen. Not even 2, just 1.
Just 1.
Just 1 syllable.
Just
Sen.
1. Yep.
Alright.
So just Sen then?
Yes, I suppose that will do.
She grasped my hands between her own, her face open and earnest. Prepare yourself.
I'm not sure I can keep doing this.
We must meet again sometime, Naomi. She gave my hand a gentle squeeze and then turned and left, her kimono flapping behind her. Our encounter was over before I'd had a chance to grasp what was even happening, and so I simply stood, stunned for a moment or two. I glanced up uncertainly at Saito. Is my disguise really so easy to see through? If it wasn't, then how had Sen, who I'd just met, been able to tell immediately that I was a girl? I had to admit I felt like it was a pretty good disguise. Saito looked down at me, a strange expression on his face.
Who knows?
Wait, what's that supposed to mean? His only response was a flicker of a smile. I opened my mouth to protest.
We should go. We've fallen behind already. We must hurry to complete our patrol on time.
He spun on his heel and marched off down the street. Fine. It was clear he had given me all the answers I was going to receive, and so I hurried to catch up, albeit somewhat petulantly.
Petulantly. Wow, the words they use in here.
Yep.
And I gotta get out a dictionary to figure out what in the world they just said. Even in English.
Even in English.
Sometimes.
It felt like summer. Each day was hotter than the last. On this particularly sweltering day, I was bringing some tea to Kondo, who was relaxing on the veranda. Sweltering, yeah. Here's your tea, sir.
Oh, thank you.
He had been deep in thought, arms crossed and face stern. Things had been bad since Lord Iemochi's death. Kondo especially was having a difficult time of it. Perhaps it was best if I simply left him alone. I turned and had already begun to walk away when he spoke.
Matsumoto is examining Suji right now. Quiet.
Again. His coughing had grown more violent and more frequent lately, perhaps. What did he say?
He hasn't said anything yet. I hope it's nothing serious. Something happened to Soji. I don't know how I'd be able to face her.
Her?
Yes.
Lines formed across his forehead and his frown deepened.
When we left for Kyoto, Mitsu, his older sister, asked me to look out for him. If I made her mad, I shudder to think what might happen to me. The very thought is terrifying.
What would she do to you? It wasn't exactly the sort of thing I'd ever thought I'd hear from Kondo, of all people. As his descriptions of her behavior became more and more exaggerated, I found myself laughing.
Hey, this isn't a laughing matter. I'd rather fight off 10 Ronin than try and argue with her. She's quite something. That makes 2 of us.
Apparently Soji's sister is someone to be feared. Ichigata?
I hope everything will turn out alright. But if something should happen to Soji, Then I would like you to be the one to tell Mitsutashi. Like hell I will! That kind of crap is what we have a chief for. Chief? Easy for you to say.
Kondo's behavior had been strange enough, but Hijikata too? Just what sort of person was Okita's sister?
Oh, right. Did you hear about the notice board over by Sanjo Ohashi
Ohashi, yeah.
Bridge?
The board he was talking about had been set up by the shogunate to officially and publicly declare the Choshu enemies of the court.
Some assholes pulled it out and tossed it into the Kamo. Yes, of course I heard about that. Haven't they already replaced it? They did. Same thing happened. I think they're going to ask us to keep an eye on it pretty soon. Got torn down at night, didn't it? What do you say to using Sanan's Fury Corps then? Fury Core then?
Hijikata frowned.
The Fury Core? You think it's a bad idea?
Hijikata chose his words carefully, his face grim.
They work hard enough, but they tend to get a little excited. Whatever we give them to do, they end up slaughtering the other side. So the real question is, why didn't we just send these guys right to the front lines and just steamroll right through the Choshu?
Through the Choshu?
Because apparently, like, nothing can stop these guys. They just go to town.
Kind of, yeah, because they heal really quickly and all that. Yeah, the problem was mostly for the Choshu expedition was the problem of numbers.
Yeah. That's not enough for them, though. They go in and hack the corpses to bits. Most of the time, they're not even recognizable.
Also, they're trying to keep the whole Fury Corps secret, which would make it really hard if they were on the front lines.
True.
But yeah, that is a problem.
Maybe they're doing it to try and hide the Shinsegumi's hand, but they're going too far. We're not just a pack of murderers. I told them to knock it off, but they won't listen. They just want to play with their corpses. They keep this up, and we're no better than those night cutters. Dot dot dot.
Dot dot dot. I felt a shiver snake down my spine as he spoke. Even more than a year later, I still remembered with terrifying clarity what I'd seen when I first arrived in Kyoto, the Furies. They'd behaved as if possessed by evil spirits, their swords hacking away mercilessly at men already dead. It hadn't been the hatred or fear that drove them, but some sort of twisted amusement. I didn't think I'd ever forget the half-mad smiles each had worn.
I've got a few other ideas. Good, good. I'll leave the details to you then, Toshi. Is it Toshi or Toshi?
Toshi.
Toshi.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Have you heard about Lord Yoshinobu? Hito... Subashi?
Hang on. Hito Subashi.
Hito Subashi.
Hito Subashi, yeah.
And the old guardian of the Shogun. The old guardian of the Shogun.
Yeah. Same guy. He has like a title.
Yeah? What about him? I've heard a couple people say he's like
Ieyasu.
Ieyasu reborn. I don't know about that, but I do hear he's pretty sharp.
So for some context, Ieyasu Tokugawa was the one who started the Tokugawa shogunate, which is...
Okay,
yeah,
the current ruling shogunate.
The current ruling shogunate. And it's been the governing force for...
230 years.
260 years?
60 years.
Whatever it said last time.
230, I think was the number.
Anyway.
Still a lot.
Centuries.
2 centuries.
So they're saying he's like his ancestor.
Okay.
Yep. Before long, they'd started to discuss politics I couldn't begin to understand, and I politely excused myself. Because we're not here for history.
I thought
back on what Hijikata had said. It was true that Sanan had been acting strange, and the Fury Corps had been getting more and more violent. There was a lot on my mind, but what worried me the most was... the notice board?
Jeez.
Or the Furies?
Choices.
Choices.
The notice board of the Furies. Which bothers me the most?
Which bothers you the most?
I'd be almost more curious about the beasts I didn't know much about
Yeah.
than a stupid board.
Fair enough. Bum bum bum. Just as Hijikata had predicted, the Shinsengumi received an official request to guard the notice board at the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge. As it turned out, the vandals were eight men from the Tosa domain. Harada and his division were well prepared and captured them when they attacked. Harada was given a reward by the Aizu for his service, and he took the rest of the captains to Shimabara to celebrate. I had remained at the temple to eat my dinner alone, but my heart felt like a lead weight in my chest, and it chased away any appetite I might have had. What's going to happen to the Shinsengumi and the Fury Corps? Slide. Almost as if on cue, the door slid open and Sanan stepped through. Oh, hello, Sanan. Can I help you? I'd scarcely opened my mouth when Sanan began to speak.
The water of life is amazing.
Okay.
The Furies we've created are a more complete success. Only short-sighted fools would call it a failure. They simply lack a proper understanding of what we've done. With this, we have nothing to fear. Not Tosa, not Choshu,
Yeah.
not anyone. You agree, don't you, Yukimura?
Sanan's face looked wrong somehow. This wasn't the man I knew. His eyes glittered with something strange and frightening. It looked unpleasantly like madness. He'd been acting oddly lately, but it was different from when he lost the use of his arm. This was more threatening somehow, and it felt as if he was rapidly spiraling out of control.
Say something! You don't agree with those fools, do you? They don't understand.
His left hand wrapped around my wrist with fingers like steel cables, and hauled on my arm, trying to pull my face up to look into his. I pulled against his grip, but he was far too strong for me to overcome. Please stop. The horrible twitching madness in his eyes was too much for me, and I screamed. Eek!
What are you grabbing her for, Sanan? That's not how you impress a lady. See? She's terrified.
Okita flashed a grin, but his hand on Sanan's arm didn't waver. Behind him I could see Saito and Heisuke.
Oh, I got caught up in the moment. I lost control. I apologize.
On the other side of his glasses, Sanan's eyes had returned to normal. The glint of madness was gone. For now. It's good to see you back. You're a little earlier than I expected, though.
Sano's gonna be drinking till morning, if Shin has anything to say about it.
Drinking buddies.
I didn't think I could handle that much, so I left with this pair of sticks in the mud.
It's only the three of you, then? Heisuke grinned.
Hijikata got caught the eye of a lady at Sumi called Kimigiku.
Yeah, that was good, actually.
She sat next to him the whole night. The encyclopedia has been updated.
Yep.
I'm guessing Sumi is the local brothel. Bar, anyways.
Yeah,
A local house of ill repute.
Yeah.
Being the commander of the Shinsengumi doesn't seem to stop him from getting all the ladies.
Kimigiku?
Yeah, she was real pretty. Actually, I'm a little worried Sano might not have enough to pay for her.
I see. One of Kyoto's Oiran, then. Oiran, yep. Which is different than a geisha.
Okay.
She was probably just as beautiful as Heisuke said. They must have made a beautiful couple. ... I gazed down at myself, small, plain, and dressed like a boy. Suddenly I felt very sad. A little jealous.
Something wrong? You look unhappy.
Oh, no, it's nothing. I did my best to give him a convincing smile.
I imagine you're tired. Perhaps we should leave.
His last words were directed at Sanan, who shrugged and sighed.
Yes, I suppose so. We'll talk another time then.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not.
You should get some rest, Naomi.
I will, thank you. And I meant it. Sanan had calmed down, but I had no wish to be around him just then, any longer than I had to. Okita stopped at the door just as Sanan was leaving.
Sanan, this water of life stuff, does it cure diseases and things too? Of course. I was a normal human being before, but I've been reborn in something completely different. I'm sure it could cure even so-called incurable diseases. They started walking again.
They started walking again, and I could hear them as they moved down the hall, still talking.
I think we'll leave Sanan to Soji for now.
Suji. He watched them leave, his always unreadable face stern and, of course, unreadable. Okay, duh. He remained for a few months before leaving himself. Hesuke had stayed silent during the exodus. Okay. When he finally spoke, his voice was sad.
Sanan's different.
Yep. Then even the captains who had been with the Shinsengumi since Edo were beginning to grow suspicious of Sanan. Hesuke was quiet for a few moments. I was starting to feel as if he was avoiding my gaze when he finally spoke. He told me that when Harada and his men had been attacked at Sanjo Ohashi, one of them had seen someone who looked a lot like me. Interesting, huh? This strange person had tried to impede the Shinsengumi and sided with the vandals from the Tosa domain. I haven't left the temple, of course, and even if I had been at Sanjo Ohashi, I would have never tried to get in the Shinsengumi's way. But if it wasn't me, then who? What could it mean? Hesuke's news only fed the anxiety that had been slowly building within me. And you'll remember that we also met that one girl who looked a lot like us.
Yep.
It was New Year's End, and I was outside in the cold weather, sweeping the compound. Phew, well that should do it. I wanted to help out as much as I could, but since they still refused to let me out without an escort, there wasn't a great deal I could do. Still, I had helped make our home clean, and that felt good. Hopefully they'd like it too.
Cleaning, I see. You're certainly hard at work.
Oh, hello, Kondo. It's really gotten cold lately, hasn't it?
Yes, it has indeed. I've been in Kyoto a while now, but I still can't get used to the weather.
He rubbed his hands together and blew on them, in a mostly vain attempt to warm them up. I picked up a bunch of dead leaves, so I was thinking about roasting potatoes later. Would you like some? They'll warm you up. Kondo gave me a little wry smile.
Roasted potatoes, huh? I used to enjoy that. Long time ago.
Back when I was a kid. Oh.
Yeah,
I flushed with embarrassment.
He's not that old and gray looking.
I think he's supposed to be 40-something.
He doesn't even have the cute little long mustache.
No, he doesn't. It was...
I guess that was a Chinese thing, probably.
It was kind of a Chinese thing. Also, at this point, it was considered more dignified to not have facial hair for the most part. Most people didn't. Kondo was a busy man. Management of the Shinsengumi was not easy. A man like that didn't have time for roasting potatoes. You've been really busy lately. I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Oh, right. Well, if I'm busy, then that means the Shinsengumi is needed. It is an honor.
True. In the last several weeks, Kondo and Hijikata had left the temple often to go meet with important shogunate officials. They probably scarcely had time to breathe, let alone relax. At that moment, almost as if all my thoughts had summoned him, Hijikata appeared.
There you are, Kondo. Oh, Tashi.
Oh, you're
Where were you? I was looking for you. They've chosen the next shogun. It's going to be your Lord Yoshinobu Hitotsubashi.
Good. Hijikata's brow furrowed to what I wouldn't have hesitated to describe as a glower. Glowering.
Him, huh? Well, let's hope he lives up to the rumors. Must you find a dark side to everything?
Yes. Who's Lord Hitsun... This Lord Hitsubashi. I had a vague memory that he was the commander of the shogunate forces during the Battle of Hamakura Gate, but Kondo gave me a quick explanation of the rest.
They say he is very intelligent. Some even going so far as to call him the second coming of Lord Ieyasu.
Ieyasu. There you go. He glanced over at Hijikata, perhaps looking for corroboration. He found none.
At any rate, he has a quick mind, and the Emperor trusts him. How could he be a poor choice?
There was a certain pride in Kondo's voice, almost as if he were talking about a friend or brother. If what he said was true, though, then perhaps the shogun would be able to unite the shogunate and the imperial court and overcome the crisis that was destroying our nation.
Alright, he's smart. I'll give him that. Then what's the problem? Forget it.
Hijikata has to be pessimistic. It's part of his character.
Doesn't really matter who the shogun is to us anyway. We're just here to fight for him. That's right. If we do our best, that means the shogun and the shogunate are safe and secure.
He kept his tone carefully light, perhaps in an attempt to sway Hijikata, but to no avail. Only 20 days after Lord Yoshinobu had been officially inaugurated as the new shogun, the emperor passed away.
Oh, great.
Yeah. All these important people died. It was especially hard on the emperor's younger sister, Kazunomiya, who had been married to Lord Iemochi and was intended to be a symbol of imperial unification, but everyone on both sides was shocked by his death.
The encyclopedia has been updated.
He was succeeded by the imperial prince, a young boy of only 15 years. In the turmoil, the activities of the Choshu domain went uninvestigated. The entire country of Japan found itself thrust into rapid motion. So the emperor is now only 15 years old. It's a great start.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3! We made it to Chapter 3. You haven't died yet.
April 1867.
Ba-bum. The seasons changed, and spring came. Kyoto was filled with the cherry blossoms, and the whole city took on a festive atmosphere. Surrounded by the gentle cheer of spring, my footsteps felt somehow lighter. Okita watched me prance about with a crooked smile.
You don't need to hurry. We aren't going anywhere in particular. Just think of it as a nice, relaxing walk.
Okay, I'll be careful. It seemed to me that it was dangerous for a captain of the Shinsengumi to think that when he was out on patrol, but I didn't dare say anything to Okita. Then again, things had been pretty quiet lately. Perhaps he was right. No, I told myself, I had to focus. Now was not the time or the place for high spirits. Nearby, I noticed a few ronin who slunk off into the side streets at the first glimpse of the Shinsengumi. How suspicious. Why run away unless they knew they were guilty of something? I stared after them intently and must have looked as if I was about to give chase, because Okita gave a bark of laughter.
Don't waste your energy on them. They're small potatoes. Which I feel like that is not a direct translation, but...
No, that's not a direct translation. Really?
If they were Choshu guys, then they wouldn't just run off like that. They'd be more confident. The guys who take off like that when we show up are almost always just small-time punks.
I see. I didn't.
They're probably guilty of something, maybe some minor crime, but the blues scare off a lot of people these days.
The uniform's gotten pretty famous around Kyoto, hasn't it?
Well, could be infamous, depending on who you ask.
It was true, the Shinsengumi blues brought recognition, but that was a double-edged sword. Sometimes they commanded obedience and respect, but sometimes the response was less pleasant. Their uniform had become a symbol, but there was some argument among the Shinsengumi as to whether or not they should adopt a new uniform. Some people, such as Ito, just felt that the uniform should be changed because it wasn't fashionable. Is Ito back from the Imperial territories yet?
Yeah, I think so. Can't say I'd have minded if he'd just stayed out there, though.
Yeah, no one likes Ito very much. He went to go recruit some of his friends and acquaintances, right?
That's what he says. But I gotta go wonder how far he really went, you know?
How far? What do you mean? If you went out past the Imperial territories, then you must really care about the Shinsengumi, right? After all, to go that far would be quite a trip to make just to get more recruits. Okita, however, didn't seem to think so.
That's what you think?
Am I wrong?
No, not really.
Okita stopped and gazed off into space for a moment. When he spoke, it was to himself.
Kondo's too nice. He should just kill Ito. He should just kill him.
He should just kill him.
How blunt. Okay.
Okita! He had a tendency to talk of killing too easily and too lightly, but how could you joke about killing one of your companions? He let his eyes slide to mine and gave me a small sigh.
A companion, huh?
The scorn in his voice wasn't for me. It was for Ito. Ever since he had first arrived, Okita and the rest of the captains had never seemed to like Ito much, but I was surprised that he would say something like that where anyone could have heard. I glanced around to make sure no one had been paying attention. What? There in the crowd, a face I'd seen before. Kaoru? The face had looked back could easily have been mine. But no sooner than I had spotted her than she disappeared, melting into the crowd.
Melting.
Melting into the crowd. That's kind of creepy. Kaoru.
Hey!
He made a grab for my arm, but I'd already moved out of his reach. I might get in trouble for it, but if I didn't go quickly, I'd lose her. Sorry, Okita, there's something I have to do. I caught a glimpse of his confused face as I ducked into the crowd. And...
Da-da-da. How many times do I have to tell her not to run off without permission? Why can't she look at this from my point of view?
Pant, pant, pant. I ran through the crowd as fast as I could, bopping and weaving around citizens going about their business, until at last I caught up to her. She was Kaoru, no mistake. Kaoru, do you remember me?
Alright, here we go again.
Yes, you were with the Shinsengumi. I remember you.
She looked surprised.
You ran after me so suddenly. It scared me.
I'm sorry about that, but there's something I wanted to ask you. I realized belatedly that I didn't know what I planned to do with her answer once I had it, but I knew I had to ask. One of the Shinsengumi saw a girl who looked like me at the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge a while ago. Could that have been you?
I don't know. I do go by the Sanjo Ohashi fairly often. Is that a problem?
She laughed politely. Oh.
Did you want to ask if I'd even been there at night?
Could it be? Could Kaoru really have been the girl who interrupted the Shinsengumi that night? If it was an autumn night and you got in the Shinsengumi's way...
Then you and I are going to need to have a little talk. I don't want to give away all the details, but it ends with your death.
Spoilers! Oh, Okita. I hadn't realized he caught up with me so quickly. Yeah, so quickly.
For a guy hacking and coughing all the time, that was pretty good
It
running.
was pretty good.
Oh, you're Okita from the Shinsengumi. Thank you for helping me the other day.
She bowed, but Okita didn't even seem to notice.
So you can answer the question. Were you there at night?
Okita wore the same half smile he always did, but his body was as tight as a bowstring, ready to have his blade in hand at a moment's notice.
My death? Please don't say scary things like that. Lots of people pass by Sanjo Ohashi during the day. At night, though, I don't go near it because of the notice board stuff.
It was almost as if she'd read my mind.
I can't believe you'd suspect me just because my face happens to look like someone else's. I don't know anything.
Oh, of course, I understand. She looked so sad I felt I had to say something. I knew it wasn't you. Sure. After all, how could a normal girl do anything to the men of the Shinsengumi? Okita seemed less convinced. His eyes shifted to me.
And why do you say that? Because she's a girl? Or because she looks like you?
No, that's not it. I couldn't bring myself to admit that he was exactly right. I'd assumed Kaoru couldn't possibly have done it simply because she was a girl.
Can I go now? Excuse me.
Kaoru. She turned and ducked away, disappearing back into the crowd. Had I done the right thing, I wondered, in covering for her? I was pondering whether or not I should give chase again when I heard Okita begin to cough. Okita? Are you okay? He was bent nearly double and coughing uncontrollably, his entire body shaking with each cough. Okita?
Stay back!
As I stepped toward him, he threw out a hand and twisted his face upward to glare at me. What?
I'm fine. So just stay there, okay?
You sound fine. It was the sheer force of his personality that stopped me, not just his words. After a while, his coughing slowed, then subsided entirely. Okita, is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong.
Like what?
When he turned to look at me this time, his sardonic half-smile was back. He looked every part the usual Okita, except that he had grown frighteningly pale. I mean, why don't we find somewhere to rest? You looked like you were in a lot of pain.
Oh, I was just tired. I mean, you did make me run all the way here.
But...
No buts. I'm fine. Now.
His expression was suddenly hard.
About the girl. Asking her about the thing with the notice board was important. I agree with you.
Good then. We needed to know if she was an enemy of the Shinsengumi or not. I needed to know.
But even... No. Because of how important that is, you shouldn't have run off on your own like that. What if she'd been an enemy of ours? Could you have handled her?
Well...
Did you even consider that possibility? That she'd planned to lure you here? It's a great spot for an ambush, you know.
You're right. She hadn't tried to attack me, but Okita was right. Next time I might not be so lucky. I could have easily run right into a trap.
You need to be more careful, right? I can take care of you, but without me around, you're just a useless kid.
Gee, thanks. Sorry.
Thanks.
The Shinsengumi had done so much for me, I just wanted to give something back. Instead, I'd only cause more trouble for them.
Alright. Lecture's over.
Okita looked tired and more than a little frustrated. I tried to apologize again, but he cut me off.
Stop being so timid. You can rely on us when you need to. I've gotten pretty used to saving your ass at this point. A couple more times isn't really gonna mean much.
Thanks, I think. He let out a snort of laughter. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, I lay awake thinking about what had happened. I couldn't figure what Okita had said. A useless kid. He was right. Compared to the captains, no, even compared to the weakest Shinsengumi foot soldier, I was pathetic. There was nothing I could do for them. It wasn't as if I'd tried to imagine myself as some sort of warrior, but to have my lack of war so bluntly stated was something of a blow. I lay there staring at the ceiling. I couldn't go on like this. Tomorrow I start working harder. I didn't want to run off on more pointless adventures that did nothing but more than cause trouble. That meant I needed to develop better judgment. And if I'm going to do that, I need my sleep. But no sooner had I closed my eyes... What?
Clank.
Clank. There was a crash from the hallway outside my room. I rolled up and out of my bed just as the door exploded into my room. Standing in the hole was one of the Shinsengumi soldiers. Is something wrong? Grrr. It was dark inside and out, and I couldn't see his face. He just stood there. I felt a chill run up my spine. And we are out of time.
We're out of time.
Cliffhanger! Cliffhangers!
Well, I guess we'll see you all next episode.
Bye!
Bye!